What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Kinesio Outdoors gear review. In today's video, I'll be discussing the Carter Whisper2, which is a release that I've been using for a little over a year. Now, I tend to trend towards 2 to 3 finger releases with kind of a thumb button, and the main reason for that is I really like the consistent anchor I get by putting my jaw between those 2 fingers there. So the releases I've used in the past are the Knock to It, the Too Smooth, and the Silverback. I also like the Evolution, and I think it's the Too Simple, whichever one of those that matches the Evolution and then has this ring there. I really like that. Now, I want to try the Whisper2 because I heard a podcast with Jerry Carter, and he mentioned it's one of the quietest, smoothest releases he's ever made, and he might think he will ever make. So I had to try it. Now, this release has some pros and cons, and there are some things that I really like about it, and some things that left me wanting a little bit more. Now, some of the pros are that this release is very quiet. So to give you some kind of audible sound, very quiet. Do that again. So cocking it's more relatively quiet, but shooting it is super quiet. So that's something that's really nice. It's very smooth. That button is very smooth. Another thing is it's very easily adjustable. Right now I have it with max tension with 1, 2, 3 magnets in. Well, to adjust it, just show you in real time here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take something that's thin enough, and I'm just gonna poke the magnet out. I'm just gonna use an Allen key, and I've got 3 of them here. I'm just gonna poke this front one out, and again, it's a magnet, so kind of wants to fight you. But once I get it out, now I just made the release less tense, so it's easier for me to pull that trigger. Now, one thing that I also like is the storage for the magnets is just in the handle, and it just feeds right in. So I got rid of one, and I put it back here. So now it's gonna be a little easier to pull the trigger and get the release to go off. That's super easy. I think it's the quickest system I've really ever seen. I mean, it's as simple as I'll just go one lighter, pull it out, line it up. Super fast, super easy. Now it's even easier. While it is super easy and super fast, I find that to be a little bit limiting because the way I see it is you essentially have 3 different options. You have full, you have 2, and then you have 1. I don't know if putting magnets like 2 in the front or 2 in the back is gonna adjust the tension. Maybe it does. I didn't really notice a big difference, but maybe it does. So that's something that I noticed is there's a little bit of a limit on the adjustability of the tension it requires to cause this release to go off. Kind of pros and cons there. Super fast system. So one thing I want to note with this is it's super easy to get these magnets in and out, and I don't know how this happened, but in my bino harness I had a magnet actually come out of the front here, and then it was loose. I keep loose Allen keys in my bino harness, and one came out. So I don't know if that was a fluke, but that is something that happened. So to me, that's something that kind of needs to be discussed. Again, this is a super smooth release, and one of the benefits again of the magnet is I can pull the magnet out, clean it, I can blow this with air, and then put the magnet back in, and the release is pretty darn smooth again. That's something that's really nice in case you take a spill, you're hunting like really dusty country. Some of the cons again are that limited adjustment, and that the magnets actually collect stuff from the dirt. So that's not a huge deal, but that is something that I noticed. My release, I had it on the ground, and then I had it on my bino harness, and it was accumulating just stuff on it. Not my favorite thing, but not the biggest deal. And one thing that it's a pro or a con depending on the kind of hunter you are. To me, it's a con because I do a lot of stand hunting. I do a lot of sitting and ambush hunting, and I like the ability to hang my release on the string on my D-loop. This does not give me that ability, that hook. However, in the moment of truth, if I'm rushed and my release is off the string, it's faster and I don't have to pay as much of attention to hook this onto the D-loop. So kind of pros and cons depending on the kind of hunter you are. I like to leave my release sitting on the D-loop, so I like to have it on there at all times. Overall, I really, really like this release. It fits really good in my hand. I like having this here. I prefer a 3-finger, so I like that this is included in the 2-finger. If I didn't want it, I could easily remove it with this Allen screw here. So I really enjoy this release. It's a really smooth release, and I don't really have a whole bunch of issues with it other than I think it would be a little bit more beneficial. It feels a little more adjustable. Right there, that's pretty tense. However, the difference between that and the next one is kind of a big jump to me, and I would like just a little bit more fine tension. So took the magnet out, push that back in there. Same thing, just showing you how easy it is to adjust it. Got it in here, thumb on. So quite a bit easier, but again, that's a pretty big jump if you ask me. So those are my thoughts on this release. Let me know in the comments if you like it, dislike it.